All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. Our destination today for our Library Now monthly drop-in is Freegal Music Plus. So this is new and improved. You may very well be a Freegal Music frequent flyer, but as of the new year, Freegal has gone through an upgrade. They've added lots of cool new features, a new look. So we're going to talk about how Freegal Music Plus, the name comes from free and legal, Freegal, is really combining some of the coolest features of both Spotify and iTunes, but free for you and your students through Library Now. So we hope that you as educators will feel empowered to create and edit playlists for utilization in your classroom, or of course, because we love themes here at the Milwaukee Public Library, for you to make that digital mixtape for your Valentine, as Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So we'll spend the first half of our time together exploring Freegal, doing some showing and some telling, and then the second half or third of our time together will be spent in Q&A. We know that you know your students, your classrooms, and your communities the best, and we are always striving to be collaborators and to hear from you. So whether that's a troubleshooting concern, an idea for us, just a hello, all of that will be welcome in the second part of our time here together today. So since we know we oftentimes speak to a mixed crowd, and this could be your first ever encounter with Library Now, we'll start with a quick overview of what is Library Now. In a snapshot, Library Now is a free, streamlined, easy to use website for both student and educators to access digital library resources that benefit them academically and recreationally. So we created Library Now with digital access and equity in mind. Part one of this is acknowledging the fact that the library has always had hundreds upon hundreds of databases, but we wanted to create a singular landing page that reduces the number of clicks that it takes for students and educators to get to those K through 12 specific academic and recreational resources. So you'll see pretty soon what the Library Now homepage looks like and how we've really tried to think intentionally about the user experience and getting those resources in front of you. And the other part of Library Now is a digital library card that we create for every student that is enrolled at one of our Library Now partners schools. And so what that looks like more specifically, if you are a enrolled ed teacher at an MPS school, your student's username will be their S-card number, because we really care about automaticity and empowering students to use this above and beyond what they're doing with you in the classroom. So you can tell them it is your 6-digit student ID minus the S of the S-card number, and then their student birth year. So 2002, for instance, will be their PIN. So a 4-digit PIN, their 4-digit birth year. If you are coming to us from another Library Now partner school, Victoria momentarily will put your login convention in the chat. Likely it's something similar, because we really do want to encourage students to have muscle memory in that regard, so that we don't have to be gatekeepers of those passwords, so it's easy for them to remember. And once they have access to Library Now, they could have access as soon as they enroll in an MPS school or Library Now partner school, first grade on. They will continue to have access to Library Now through 12th grade. So we see this as having the potential to be utilized over the weekend, in the evenings, over the winter break and the summer break and beyond. So feel free to stick around for the second half if you have any questions about virtual educator cards for you as educators or your student access concerns. And without further ado, we will get to the star of the show, which is Freegal Music and our exciting new updates to this. So I'll tackle over to Library Now in just a moment, but big picture, let's talk about the Freegal user experience. So Freegal is available via both the web browser version, which you may very well be using in your classroom, or there are a lot of exciting updates to the app, which is also free. So for both of these, there's nothing that you have to download and put onto your computer and phone other than the app itself. What's amazing about Freegal is that there are over 15 million and counting songs, over 40,000 music videos. There is music from over 100 different countries, and there are over 200 genres. So we really hope that you'll be feeling like a kid in a candy store once we hop into Freegal itself. Again, you don't have to download anything. And I think what's most important, especially speaking to an audience of educators, is that there are no concerns when it comes to digital rights management. So if you are playing this in the background in your classroom or encouraging your students to add sound effects to a presentation, or whatever its feature is going to be the best fit for you, you can know that no one's going to come after you. This is completely, as we said, is in the name, free and legal. So you can tell your students about this, knowing that they will never have ads, they'll never have pop-ups, they'll never have spam that clicks up that could then infest their computer or device with a virus. This is all safe and vouched for. And Freegal actually exists to service libraries, and then of course libraries go on to service communities. So Freegal is a nationwide library serving resource, which may give you some comfort, and it may be interesting for you to know. So I'm going to toggle over first to the web browser version of Freegal, and then I'll also dedicate some time to talking about how the web version works. If this is your first time here at LibraryNow, welcome. This is your LibraryNow roadmap. We try to cater to different age categories, again, reducing the number of clicks it takes to get to those resources. We've got educators, kids, and teens, and we hope that you will go on to explore all of these in good time. Because music is for everyone, you can find a Freegal on either any of those tabs. Every single page is categorized into these 3 bins. So for kids, we have put Freegal under gaming and media. You can see a little elevator pitch for each one. So here is Freegal Music Plus. This is the home page. If you are a Spotify user, like I am, at least I'm a tied Spotify and Freegal user since working at the library, you'll notice a lot of similar user experience notes. So really designed for maximizing browsing. If you're like me, you want to know how to find your go-to artists, but also be introduced to new artists. So you can see, got to explore playlists, discover artists, discover albums, new arrivals. There are a lot of trending sections, featured songs. I always love to shout out the good old Milwaukee Public Library. We are very prolific in the creation of our own playlists. A lot of this, especially for Black History Month, we've got Black female artists from the past century. We love our MPL social media accounts. So we've also got TikTok favorites, Hispanic heritage. We had an event that we partnered with a local DJ for, so you can see that there. Recently played playlists, you would name it. So I want to show you some of the main features. First and foremost, the key way in which Freegal is a combination of Spotify and iTunes is that it combines streaming capability and download capability. So you'll see at the very top bar there that you have 7 hours of streaming a day. All LibraryNow resources are available 24/7 and they are free, so you will never be billed for anything that you find on Freegal. So the 7 hours is the cap. We're working towards a yes on unlimited streaming, but for now, since Freegal does partner with libraries, also with educators in mind, we're hoping that 7-hour period of time will be enough for you to use in all of your classrooms if you wanted to. Students, and certainly you as educators using this as humans as well, have 5 downloads per week. So streaming resets every 24 hours, so that's every day, and then downloads reset at 12 a.m. every Monday. If you have utilized either all of your streaming minutes or all of your downloads, there will be a notification that pops up that says limit reached, but you can certainly also create a wish list if it comes to downloading songs. Once you download songs, those belong to you and your students. You can download them in other places. They can exist on your laptop. Again, this is really cool that Freegal is also encouraging ownership in addition to the web browser or app experience. You can see on here there are other library soundtracks, which is super cool. But then most of what we will be focusing on today in our show and tell demonstration will be how to create a playlist. So if you navigate to My Music, that's of course when you get to have your energy and personality and best hits of your classroom or your life or your student's life. I work in the Office of Education and Outreach Services here at the library, so gotta have my EOS energy playlist for the workday. And I have created Falling in Love with LibraryNow. Very cheesy, but MPL will certainly be your Valentine for all folks out there. So this is what it looks like. Key items over here that I'll show you. This is how you favorite a song. You're not able to queue up songs as you would be able to on a Spotify. So a good way to queue up songs would be to create a playlist and then use this feature here to drag or to love an item, favorite an item, and then that creates its own favorite section over here. You can share a song. So we know that music sharing is also a great collaborative tool for you as educators, or certainly for your students. We live in the age of music sharing, hence the name of the session, Making Your Valentine a Mixtape. This is definitely home base when it comes to the key features of the playlist. So if you wanted to remove from a playlist, I would never remove Etta James from my playlist. She's too good. But if you wanted to, this would be how you would remove it, or add to a playlist if you wanted to change the playlist that it's in. Say, I'm really feeling At Last vibes. I could also add it to EOS Energy. This would be if I wanted to download a song. So those are the key features on that point. So what I also wanted to show you all, in addition to the existence of the favorite bar, which you can see here, downloaded songs, my playlist, wish list, constant access to your favorites, is a few features of Freegal above and beyond music. So you can certainly, of course, use the search feature, browse by new artists, by Grammy winning artists, you name it. And those features are pretty standard when it comes to music services like Freegal, Spotify, et cetera, et cetera. But we also want you to know that, as you consider the vibe and the hype needs of your classroom, if you will, there are a lot of cool sound effects or brain breaks or, meditation and relaxation tracks for you to consider utilizing in your classroom. So we know you know your classroom best. So maybe you want to start out with a meditation at the beginning of a class period. So I'm going to stop talking for a moment so you can hear a break from my voice and hear the beautiful meditative tracks of this album, Relax Your Body and Your Mind.
Make sure you are lying comfortably. Choose a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, such as on your bed, a sofa, or even...
Won't go too far into it because it's been a long work day. I don't want to be too relaxed. But that's an example of our one of our many meditation albums if you wanted to lead your classroom in that. And my personal recent favorite, in addition to my Cozy Coffee House playlist, which I've always loved the vibe of, is an example of a crowd and applause album. So if you wanted to integrate this into the classroom experience, if you wanted to help students feel celebrated by like a recital hall applause, or if you wanted to encourage students to include these sound effects in their own PowerPoint presentations, you certainly could. And Victoria and I, it was a tough pick as to which was our favorite of these. As you can see, there is a huge range in terms of the hype value, but our personal favorite is now the NASA Control Room Crew, excited applause and cheers. So I'll also take a moment to share that one too. Here we go.
Yes.
All right, and we have landed somewhere in LibraryNow world, on the LibraryNow planet. So another really fun feature that we hope that you'll be able to enjoy. When it comes to genres, what I also love to share, I think I mentioned that there are over 100 different countries represented. We also have a language toggle feature here. So in settings, you can also change the language to be English, Spanish, French, German, or Italian. And I'm sure Freegal is only continuing to expand those. But what's great is whether students are looking to explore a new genre or stick to the tried and true of artists they love, these are certainly on here as well, along with an advanced search. So you can see all the different ways that you're able to search, some search tips. And then of course, if you're like me and you want to know the best practices of every part of the site, there is also both an FAQ and a help feature. I'm going to toggle back. We can certainly come back for questions or continued exploration, but I'm going to toggle back to my presentation to show you what the web browser version looks like. So, or excuse me, we just talked about the web browser version. We're going to toggle over to what the app version looks like. So a lot of similar features, but first and foremost, it's worth saying that when it comes to all LibraryNow resources, they function kind of like a Roku box. So LibraryNow is that landing page, that home page, just as Roku would be kind of that hosting site of subscription services to a Netflix and a Disney Plus and whatnot. So you'll start with LibraryNow. You and your students will always start on that LibraryNow landing page, whether it is using it on your phone or using it on your computer. That is what ensures, above all else, that all LibraryNow resources are available to you 24/7 and they are free. So if you ever hit a paywall, you let us know, because that should never happen for any of our LibraryNow users. The app is also free, but similarly in this kind of Roku metaphor of then accessing your additional subscription services, Freegle does have one additional step of authentication, even when you download the app. So when it first pops up on your phone, it will ask you to enter either a zip code, city, country, etc. I think it's easiest to enter in Milwaukee, either if you're using it or your students are using it. You'll click continue. We, I guess, own the monopoly on Freegle in the Milwaukee area, which I'm not unhappy about. So you'll select that button, Milwaukee Public Library. And then you'll be brought to the point where you and your students will enter your LibraryNow login credentials. So for your students, once again, that will be their 6-digit student ID minus the S number if you are an MPS partner, and it will be the student ID that Victoria posted in the chat if you are another LibraryNow partner. And then for all students, it will be the 4-digit birth year. And then if you have created your virtual educator card, you will also be able to implement your card number and your PIN. It's also worth mentioning that if you as an educator are an MPL library card holder already, you can also separate your Freegle music in your personal life and your Freegle music that you're utilizing in the classroom. So if you know your MPL library card number, you could also use Freegle music to get 14 hours a day. Woo! So that's definitely a perk of compartmentalizing your personal life and your professional life, and knowing that Freegle music can really be catered to each. So once you put in those 2 additional login convention components, you'll click login and you'll be into the app. Once you are there, very similar in terms of the navigation, but in the upper right-hand corner is the key navigational menu. You'll see my music, my playlists, favorites, genres, downloads. You'll also be able to see the downloads available, the streaming available, the FAQs, terms and conditions, et cetera, et cetera. You'll see on the bottom of that page, the ability to toggle into one of the 5 languages offered by the Freegle app and web browser version. And then if you select My Music, that is how you'll be able to see your playlists, your favorites, your downloads, and very importantly, when you want to get to your Harry Styles ASAP or your Beyonce ASAP, you'll be able to search them. And then you can see on the far right there is the languages offered. And we would just like to say at this point, before we navigate over to the second part of our time together, the Q&A, and some other fun invitations, both from LibraryNow and MPL for upcoming events, that we are inevitably tip of the iceberg people because our time together is always so short. So we really do hope that you will take the time to explore other resources that exist on LibraryNow. We've got everything from free tutoring offered by BrainFuse, our 2 digital collections, Hoopla and Overdrive. We've got Mango and Pronunciator, our language learning apps. If students are really loving music that they listen to in Freegle in a different language and they want to try to understand what it means, primary and secondary sources for research, so much, in addition to the educator tab that has additional opportunities for professional development with us here at LibraryNow, lesson plan materials, a growing video tutorial library, and so much more. And without further ado, I'm going to pause to see if any questions have come up about Freegle music specifically, and then we'll open it up to the full Q&A. And Victoria, if any have been posted in the chat, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, thank you. No, I don't see anything in the chat. So I'm going to give a little bit of think time, but I think in the meantime, I will stop our recording and then we'll continue on. How does that sound?
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you folks for coming. Feel free to stick around for a few other time sensitive updates.